Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be working on our front end. In my last video, I completed doing CRUD operation using GOLANG web API, and then today we'll be using react-redux toolkit. So I created a folder named Go frontend for employees, and in there I just typed npx create react app, and the name of our react app is frontend. This folder was created, and I got this happy hacking message. So we're ready to work on this. So right click, okay, I'm going to remove some of the files. Yeah, I just kept app.js and index.js, and I removed everything apart from those. Okay, let's save it. I'm going to go here and okay, I'll copy this for I'm going to install this toolkit. So on your terminal, make sure you're on front end, okay? You're on the right directory. And after this gets installed, I will also install this react-redux. Okay, that's installed, and the other thing I'd like to install is this router. I'll install this first link. Okay, let's copy this entire thing. Or you know what, just this. Let's copy this and let's paste it inside these empty fragments of app.js. And I also need the import. Let's copy this. We need to remove these two both because we've already deleted. And let's paste it. Okay, so basically this is the router that we're creating, and I need to create some files and folders. So let's get started. We're going to create a bunch of folders and files inside those. So inside source, you're going to create a folder and name it components. So inside source itself, you're going to create another folder, and it's going to be features. So components will have a kind of common component JS files like home, layout, but the features, this folder features, will have specific files related to specific components. So for example, we have a database or model named employee. That is what we will be using in our case. So we'll have a folder, and the name of folder will be employees, and inside employees we're going to add components specific to the employees, like read employees, .js. Okay, inside employee itself we're going to add another folder, so create employee, and another will be a update employee.js. And the other thing we'd like to add inside employees is API. So employee API slice.js. So this will have all the API related codes in this file. And inside components, we're going to add home and layout, home.js, and the other will be layout.js. Okay, so inside home.js, let's do react, let's save it, and inside layout.js we're going to copy paste this whole thing. Let's copy this, let's paste it. Let's do react, save it. If you leave it blank, you might get error. So, okay, let's start working from app.js. We have layout component, we have home component, but now we need another component to read employee, which is read employees that we have already created, and create employee and update employee. Okay, now the paths should be read employees, create employee, and the path for update employee is going to be an ID, just an ID. And let's save it. Now we need to import these components up in here. So oops. Okay, it's inside. So read import employees inside features and employees and read employees. Okay, let's copy paste this few times. Okay, and now this is going to be read employee and update employee. Let's copy this. Okay, now we need to import home and layout. Okay, I think that's it. Now let's go inside layout page, and we need home, we need so these paths should be exactly same to these. Okay, let's save it. Okay, now this should complete our router, and now inside source I'm going to add another folder. Okay, it's going to be app And inside app we will store a file named, we will add a file named store.js. Okay. And inside app we're going to add another folder, and that's going to be API. So this is going to be the main API folder. Okay, and inside this API slice.js. Okay, that's it. Let's save it. Now inside, so we will be working we will be working on using API slice.js. Okay, so let's import few things. Import create API from okay, that's weird, because it was supposed to give me some. Okay, 1 second. Let's see if our react-redux toolkit was installed properly or not. It was. So this is what I was going to, let's copy this and let's paste it, because I was supposed to be helped with the intelligence. Okay, let's do export const API slice equals create API, and it's going to take three things. First will be base query, and inside base query we're going to add fetch base query, and inside fetch base query base URL, and base URL will have the base so let's go to our postman. This is going to be the base URL. Okay, so let's copy this, and let's paste it here. This is the first one, and the second one is going to be builder, not the builder, I guess. Let's go to my code and see API slice. So it's tag types and endpoints. Tag types, and tag types is an array which has list of models. So we have just one right now, employee, and endpoints. So we are not going to give you any endpoints right now. We're going to build endpoints. So I'm going to builder. Okay, that's it. So using this builder we're going to build endpoints inside these API slices, just in a bit, not now. And let's save it, and I think that is it for API slice. Now let's go to our store, and we need to import configure store. Okay, here's the intelligence, and also we need to import API slice. Okay, now I'm gonna make sure that my volume is good. Okay, I guess so. Export const store equals configure store, and it has three things as well. So let's go and see what are those. Or you know what you can do, click on getting started and go all the way here, and if you see this configure store, you just click it. Okay, so it has three parameters. First one is reducer, second is middleware, and third is DevTools. reducer, and this is how we will be adding reducer middleware and dev tools, and we're going to set it true. Let's work on our reducer. So the reducer is going to be API slice dot reducer path, API slice dot reducer. So this is going to be the reducer path, and this is just a one-time configuration. You don't need to memorize anything. It's in the documentation itself. So middleware is going to be get default middleware. Here, this one, get default middleware such that get default middleware dot concat. We're going to concat it with the middleware API slice dot middleware. Okay, now let's just get rid of this middleware and let's save it. Okay, I think that is it. API slice dot middleware. Let's make sure that the code is correct. Inside store.js. Okay, I guess so. If not, we'll work on it. Okay, let's close these two, and now let's go inside our index.js and let's add our provider and store over here. Okay, provider from react-redux. Always remember it should be react-redux, not just the react. Import and store. Okay, and we will wrap this app component over here with provider. And let's pass store. And let's save it. And that is it. Okay, nothing over here. Now we will start working on our employee API slice.js. But before that, I'd like to show you something. So this is the code for our backend API, and it actually runs perfectly in my Postman API. But when I try to use my frontend as React.js here, if you go here, I am actually running this app right now. This is exactly the router how it's supposed to be, no designs, nothing, but it's this CORS policy is not allowing me to see what's inside read employees. Okay, so go to your GOLANG backend and go inside main.go. All you need to do is to get this CORS, go get and use this. So copy this and in your terminal here, just paste it and run it. Okay, I already have one on mine, so I don't need to do that. And it's going to import these time and GitHub link. Okay, and this is what I added. Let's save it. So this is the code that I found on the internet to allow origins and methods and headers. And if I save it, okay, it's restarting, so let's give it a few seconds. Okay, now we should be able to, okay, so now we are able to see these data and it should be working. Now I'd like to show you a few things here. So our React Redux toolkit actually works on create entity adapter, and create entity adapter is like something okay, let me show you something. It's quite confusing, but it works on entities and IDs. Okay, so all these 5 records, we have ID for those 5 records and we have entity for those 5 records. And entities, IDs can be iterated. IDs is in the form of array over here, as you can see, but entities are not. So they are mapped using these IDs. Entities are mapped using these IDs that we have, and we get the entire data of that specific ID. So to access one specific record, we are going to use ID. Okay, and let's actually see that in working. So if inside our employee API slice, we are going to write our code. So I'm going to import create entity adapter. And we're going to API slice also. Okay. Employee adapter. Create entity adapter. That's how we declare it. It's in the documentation. And we're going to get initial state using this entity adapter. So and we have a built-in function get initial state that we will be using. Okay, now export const, and we are going to use the name of our application emp employee API slice. Equals. So we're going to here we are going to inject endpoints to our API slice. Okay, so API slice dot inject endpoints, and in here we're going to type endpoints, and inside endpoints we're going to add okay, probably we're going to add query. Let's see what this code has. Okay, builder, sure. So we're going to build endpoints. Obviously that actually makes sense because we're going to use builder such that, okay, so this builder is going to help us build endpoints, and the endpoint will be, the first endpoint will be in read employees. Okay, so read employees is going to be builder.query. Okay, so builder.query because we are reading something, because we are sending query, we just need a data. But in case of create, update, and delete, we're changing things. So it's going to be builder.mutation in those three functions. Only in read employees we're going to use builder.query. Okay, so if you click on this API slice.js, so we have endpoints and it's giving, we're using builder. So this builder is being used here to build endpoints, and this is the endpoint. Okay, and these things that we will be writing is just about building how we're building in endpoints and how it's going to work. That's all. So here we're going to write query, and the query is a function such that, and slash employees, that's going to be the link. So this slash employees is exactly this. Whatever is after the base URL, you're going to add that. If it was slash employee slash ID, which is 24, and that value is HelloFresh, then if you click on send, so this is the data that we receive, right? And its query is going to be this employer slash ID. Okay, so once we have query, there are a few things inside. When we are building endpoint for read, we are going to do some extra steps here, but create, update, and delete will be pretty easy to work on. So in here we're also going to add validate status, and validate status will have two parameters, response and result. Return response dot status 200, and we're also going to check error. So result dot is error. Okay, we're just making sure that result is error is false, and we're making sure that response status is okay. 200 is a okay status. That's it. And this is just a one-time thing, so don't worry a lot about it. Just try to understand. I've done this a lot of times, that's why I just type easily. So the next thing we'll add here is transform response. This is very important because our backend is in GOLANG API and frontend is in React. So if you see this, our backend has capital I and capital D, and our React will have small id. So because of these spellings of lowercase and uppercase, it doesn't recognize id. So these are very case sensitives. Okay, so inside transform response, we're going to do response data such that const new response equals response data dot map, and inside this map we're going to pass employee such that, let's do employee only, employee dot id is equals to dot id. Okay, so it just means that, oh, let me check. Okay, it's the other way around. Okay, so basically what this is doing is it's taking the response and it's mapping through, and for every response it's updating its for every response this small cased id is updated or assigned by uppercase id. Okay, that's it. That's all it's doing. And we're going to return this new response data, and let's return adapter.setAll. We're going to set initial state with this new response. Okay, let's save it. So this is the initial state that I was talking about. So using this initial state uses this create entity adapter to build the initial state, which will have completely empty IDs and entities. We will see that in real, or yeah, let's see that shortly. Let's work on this for now. And after this transform response, we have the other parameter. It's provide tags, and it's going to have 3 parameters: result, error, and argument. Okay, and we're going to check if result has any data or not. So result.ids, so as I already told you shortly, it has IDs and entities. So these are the IDs. Okay, so if there are IDs, then it means that there is some data which we can iterate on. If there is no data, IDs will be empty. But here we're going to use this so that if there is no data, it's not going to give you that null reference error. It's just going to give you undefined. So if result has IDs, then we're going to return type as the name of our model, so employee here, and ID will be list. Let's put a comma here, and here we're going to do result. We're going to map on every IDs. Okay, result result.ids.map. So we're going to pass ID, type is going to be employee, and ID is going to be just an ID, this ID. Okay, I guess this should work. I just want to make sure. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, this is what we are looking at, and oh, it doesn't have these angle brackets. Okay, now this should work, I guess. Okay, now, so after this if, we're going to add else. Return and let's save it. Okay, inside curly braces. Okay, and let's save it. That's it. Okay, now let's work on our hooks that's automatically generated by react-redux toolkit. So to do that, export const employee API slice, and in here just type use, and you are able to get access to this use read employees query. So this read employees query is exactly the read employees, the middle part of that read employees query is same as this except the casing. So it just added use, and read employees is our endpoint, and it added query because it's a query for update, delete, and create. It's going to be use mutation, use endpoint, and then mutation, not query. Okay. All right, now after getting this, we're going to work on selectors. So export const read employee data. So to get access to that, we're going to use employee API slice dot endpoints dot read employees dot select, not select all, just the select. So this will give you the entire data, and that data needs to be let's keep it select. So read employee select. So this is going to give us the entire data that we need to convert into data. Not, this is not the data yet. Okay, so to do that, we're going to do const create selector, this one. Okay, so let's see. I don't know, imported few things that I wasn't aware of. So this is what we wanted. So we used create selector, and it actually imported for us. So using this create selector, we're going to pass this, and then let's do comma and new data such that data. So this should change the value to data. Now let's export const. Okay, now get selector. Okay, let's okay, not here, not this. I think employee adapter dot get selector. Oh, here you go. Get selector, and it is going to take state such that, and we're going to pass state. Okay, that's it. And inside this, after using this get selector and passing the state of this, we are able to get access to select all employees. So we're going to assign it by and we can select by ID, and we're going to replace it by and let's save it. And that is it we need to do in this file in order to read the data. That now we're going to go to read employees, and here we're going to actually use const, and we're going to use read. So this hook can be used as a function here, and there we're going to pass data, and we're going to name it as, just name it as employee, PLOYE employee, and we can add another thing that is success. Because we are using this hook, it's allowing us to use these keywords. Okay, so if is success, then say if. Okay, save it. Now if this is success, we'd like to get data from employee. So let's destructure employee and see what happens. Const. So employee has IDs and entities. Okay, so we were using this employee. Okay, so these IDs and employees are inside data that's provided by this hook function, and we are able to, so we used employee, we assigned this name to this data, that's why we're using it here, and it has IDs and entities inside. So let's console log IDs and entities. And let's save it. So this should give us something like this, IDs like exactly like this and entities exactly like this. Okay, now, and you know what, let's just close this application because we'll be running on this port number itself, because I have in my Go API, I have used this port number in the course allow origin. And sorry about that. Let's go here and let's close this, and let's go back to our code. And okay, so if success, we're able to get these IDs and entities, right? So let's actually let content so that we can use it here. Const table data is IDs dot map, and we're going to map it by imp ID such that, and we're going to create a component and we're going to pass it. So let's create a component named employee, and let's pass a key as imp ID that we just, and let's pass ID equals, okay, that's it. And after this, so let content is equals to, let's create a table here. Okay, inside table header, head, tr, th. Email and actions. Okay, after the head we're going to add the body, and inside the body we're going to pass, let's copy this table data and let's pass it. Okay, and we are going to return this content. Let's copy this and let's pass the content in our return. Okay, now let's go over here and see. So we have used this new component which we don't have here. Let's create it .js. Okay, and in here we're going to import the same component. Okay, that's it. Now let's go inside our employee.js, and in here let's get this ID that's passed as key, and we're mapping every data. So now we need to use selector to select employee by IDs. So let's do it like this. Use selector, and inside use selector we're going to pass select employee by ID. Let me show you where exactly I got this from. So this select employee by ID, I'm allowed to use this to select every every select employee by ID. So select employee by ID, and I'm going to pass a state and ID. Okay, state, and so ID will be this. Let's copy this and let's paste it. Okay, now we're going to return, we're going to have inside return tr td. Inside td we're going to have employee.name. So I'm using this employee. Okay, let's copy this. Okay, employee.email, and here we're going to add 2 buttons. Okay, let's save it. Okay, let's see if we are able to run this or not. Our frontend npm start. Let's make sure our backend is also running. It looks like it's running. Okay, let's do y, but our port number has to be 300, so we're going to change it to 300 once it runs in our browser. Okay, so if it is on 3001, just make it 3000. Okay, so if you click on read employee, you are able to read employee. You click on, oh no, it's because this is also running at the same time. So it's just, so now if you click on, okay, let's just, okay, now, okay, let's see what's going on. Let's go to our console. Okay, there is an error here, so employee is not defined. Okay, so you need to put const, and let's save it. Okay, let's run this here one more time. It says cancel. Let's copy this and okay, but if this runs on 3001, we're not able to get anything. Okay, so let's make sure it runs on 3000. Okay. Okay, let's do that one more time. Okay. And if you click on read employee, we are getting some error. So let's inspect. Okay, response.map is not a function. Okay. You have to go here and it's employee API slice line number 16. Okay, so response data. So if you go to our postman, it's actually inside employee. It's not directly inside response data. So let's copy employee, not this one. So let's save it. Let's see if this works. Okay, transform response employee API slice.js 16. Okay, let's see my other code. So it's giving me employees, not employee. Let me see here. It's just employee. Oh, because we're getting just one employee. So if you do for read data, if you do employees and do get itself, and if you click on send, it's employees. So let's copy this and let's paste it. Let's save it. Okay, now it's working. And now let me show you something real quick. Here in initial state, let's do console log. Okay, let's save it. let's see what it gives us when we click on. So it's actually giving us the initial state. Let's do that one more time. Okay, so initial state. So it's just an ID and entities, just creating us the IDs and entities, that's all. So inside these we will be adding IDs like this and entities like this way. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much for watching read operation. My next video will be create, update and delete, which will be up shortly. Thank you.